You should wait to hear what Camron did. It's not just beef here. This betrayal was captured on film. Keep listening because what you're about to hear could permanently alter your perception of your favorite hip-hop artists. Did Ron just light up? Is the internet burning? Or is there a social media uproar about his release of a private video of Jim Jones? Fans, celebrities, and insiders are among the millions of individuals who now see what was once a private event. The hip-hop has been shocked by the unsettling video, which shows Jim in a very vulnerable and intimate scenario. Camron's actions are being questioned by many. Jim Jones feels pressured to lessen the damage, safeguard his reputation, and give his version of events. However, this is not merely a video. It has to do with treachery. Camron has gone too far, according to Chrissy Lynn's husband, who is furious and prepared to strike back. Was this a leap? An actual attempt to destroy Jim, or is something else happening? The stakes are higher than ever, and tensions are rising. This drama is just beginning, so stay tuned for all the fascinating details. After the video emerged, viewers were shocked when it went viral. In a matter of hours, the whole hip-hop community was talking about it on social media. Despite Camron's notoriously erratic temperament, nobody could have anticipated this. Even worse, Jim Jones, once considered one of the game's most respected figures, was unexpectedly embroiled in a scandal. The movie itself was surprisingly real. Jim was behaving very bizarrely, persona, making viewers wonder if it was a coincidence or if Camron had set him up. Both celebs and fans responded on social media when the video went viral. Some were shocked and distressed, while others took advantage of the occasion to note that Jim had his personal life, which he had always kept quite private, was abruptly made public. Everyone was affected by this breach, which undoubtedly had far-reaching effects. As the video went viral, Jim's lifelong friend Chrissy Lamon wasn't keeping silent. The drama queen, who has a notoriously short fuse and a deep affection for Jim, Chrissy, lost her rage and took to. She expressed how she felt on Instagram. As followers quickly filled the comment section, her tweet only served to fan the flames. Include comments that questioned or supported Chrissy's involvement in the incident. "You dare betray me? This is something we like. Camron, there's no turning back now. The lien has been passed by you." Chrissy may have been hiding information from Camron, according to certain suspicions. She might have been more informed than she realized. You shouldn't believe everything you hear, and this isn't what it looks. See, nevertheless, it was obvious that the harm had already been done. The impact of the film could not be reversed by damage control. In private, Jim was dissatisfied. In line with those, Camron's actions caught him completely off guard. After years apart, Jim never thought Camron would be so unfaithful to him. There had always been a whisper of conflict between them, but nobody anticipated it getting so bad. There was a lot of conjecture in the hip-hop culture that Camron had been harboring resentment for a while, and that this video release was his attempt to take control of the narrative. Other supporters viewed it as a more gimmick meant to increase drama and tension for both parties, while June tried to decide how to handle the issue. Jim and Camron, some saw it as a personal betrayal that would have long-term consequences. But wait, what comes next is even more bizarre. There's going to be another unexpected twist. Don't assume that this drama is over. Impacts on their employment and relationships. The narrative became more complicated as the truth was revealed. The enigmatic statement, "The truth always comes out," was shared by Camron on his personal Instagram account. Jim Camron was coming under more and more pressure as the video went viral. The release was becoming more and more of a crisis than just a viral occurrence. Jim had to deal with more than just public shame, even if he did not make it clear that he was responsible for the leak. He was obviously implying that he was involved. The message shocked and disappointed the majority of his fans. Others, however, stood up for Camron, saying that perhaps there was more to the story than what was being told. And despite the possible repercussions, Chrissy was not going to back down. His legacy in the hip-hop community, relationships, and profession could all be significantly impacted by this. "I urged Camron to explain his decision to betray Jim in this manner, and she made it clear in a string of irate posts that she wasn't going to leave this unanswered." As the days went on, Camron experienced increasing pressure as more and more people started to question why he shared the movie, or was there another activity taking place behind the scenes. Fans were enmeshed in a bloody altercation between two titans of hip-hop as the drama played out in real time, and as the controversy grew, it became evident that it was only the beginning of a much larger story. What comes next? Is this the end of an era for the two hip-hop icons? Or will Jim and Camron's friendship endure this betrayal? The following story twist was eagerly anticipated by fans. To observe how this conflict would develop over time, or because some were supporting Jim and claiming that he wasn't deserving of this treatment, while others were prepared to confront him about his past actions and question whether he was really as innocent as he appeared to be. The media went crazy, meticulously dissecting each and every word and emoji reveal who Camron was really aiming for. In a series of cryptic tweets and Instagram posts, Camron, ever the master of inciting outrage, teased supporters with tidbits of information, adding gasoline to the fire. In one, he shared a photo of himself in a contemplative place. You can't trust everyone who Camron left fans guessing whether he was referring to Jim or someone else. He said this again, but it didn't convince the fans. As a result, people turned to social media to communicate, expressing displeasure with Jim Jones, who is downplaying the problem in an effort to keep his composure in public. In some interviews, the person who claimed that the video was finished and was already upset and angry about the whole affair decided to exacerbate the situation later. Camron's posts. Do you find it amusing? Is it humorous, in your opinion, to reveal Mai's treatment of a partner in this manner? She changed from being Jim's partner to a vengeful guardian who will do whatever it takes. Nothing to support their connection. Her opinions were sincere, and her remarks resonated with her admirers. In an Instagram live broadcast, she made clear how outraged she was. She had no intention of allowing Camron NA to be seen on the live feed. It left without a response and became well known very fast. She had always viewed it as a betrayal of Camron. There was a rift on the internet right now. While some denounced Camron for publicly humiliating Jim, whom they believed had done something wrong, others hailed him as a genius for creating drama. Nothing is wrong. The subject was hotly contested among hip-hop insiders, with some suggesting that Camron was jealous and trying to damage Jim's career by pointing out that Jim had fabricated the revelation from a source close to Camron, which may have been one of the most unexpected things that Jim had discovered about his personal life, and he took advantage of it. I see. Camron was accused of keeping a closer eye on Jim's personal affairs than anybody else, especially details regarding his relationship with Chrissy. There were rumors of conflict between Camron and Jim. For many years, I suspected it was a long-standing personal grievance, whether it had to do with his music company or something else entirely, although it was clear that they had a close relationship because no one had ever questioned his status in the hip-hop industry. Camron was renowned for his bold statements and audacious deeds. Some said that bringing him to the public's attention was a power move. Jim rarely spoke up and mostly remained silent, making it impossible to assess his true feelings on the matter, but it was clear that he was struggling to cope with the fallout from the disclosure. Then the startling discovery. Another video. The most recent. The video that was supplied additional background information on the matter. Although it lacked the original's depth, in the footage, Jim is seen arguing with an unnamed person in a private setting. The exchange seems heated. The second video was seen by some followers as proof that more was happening. While others believed Camron was behind the scenes, others, however, perceived it as a conscious effort to keep the drama going. Camron, however, was relishing the drama. He was more active on social media than ever before. Because of the media attention of the leak, his name was trending for a few days. His admirers were always on edge, anticipating his next move. Some even appeared to question whether the release of the footage had revealed issues in their connection. Camron was not merely a player. He was the leader of the game. The question was the same for everyone. What did Camron hope to obtain from this? Did he want to get even? Or was it just another fan who was curious to see how Jim, Chrissy, and Camron would respond to this ruthless game of loyalty, treachery, and power? Who would win? More significantly, would any of them escape punishment? Supporters. As tension increased, some people questioned whether Jim Jones and Camron's romance was ending. Only time will tell as the dispute develops. However, one thing was certain. The disclosure has revealed the intricate and sometimes tense relationships that developed behind the scenes in the hip-hop industry, leading to much more than just a straightforward dispute. According to people close to Camron, the rapper had been bitter towards Jim for years, alleging disagreements over music, private matters, and money. Whether the two could undo the damage created by the Firestorm spill was uncertain. It seemed like everything was falling apart at a startling rate after they had spent years together establishing their careers and making their imprint on the hip-hop industry. Unrest-related rumors started to disperse behind the scenes. To get things moving and remind everyone who was in charge, he distributed the completed film. His formerly flawless public image had suffered because of the released video, considering his connection to Chrissy, who had often been regarded as being one of the strongest couples in hip-hop, had started to exhibit signs of weakness due to the tension in the video. There was nothing to prevent him from going back. Dot was always extremely protective of Jim and kept him on track. As the weeks passed, Jim started talking more about it, admitting that the repercussions had hurt him in a candid interview. Jim said, "I never thought Camron would go this far," in a passionate tone. "Together, we have experienced a great deal. We've been brothers." In a brave move, Chrissy responded, "He went too far," when asked about Camron's behavior during a live interview. She also talked about the video. Though there were still issues, Chrissy's remarks struck a chord with many of his followers, who had long admired his dedication and perseverance, sympathized with his pain and anger, and felt awful for him. Many people supported Jim and Chrissy, while others believed Camron had brought attention to a more pressing issue. These included the reasons for Camron's initial decision. Even though the video and its aftermath were made public, the media was taken aback when Chrissy revealed that she would not put up with this condition. She wasn't just protecting Jim. She was defending their relationship. Some admirers questioned whether the movie's release was evidence that Jim had been concealing something all along. People who supported their family's reputation in spite of the chaos. Camron stayed quiet, making lighthearted fun of Jim, tweeting cryptic remarks, and only occasionally showing up on social media. He also hinted that there might be more shocking discoveries in the future. This is just the beginning. As Camron played the part, the tension only increased. To put it simply, the argument seemed to be over whether there was more footage when Camron followers were confused by his tweet, or if any additional riddles were resolved. To have no end in sight. Although they might have been a part of a larger scheme, Camron's close associates' disclosure of the leak caused things to take an unexpected turn, with some speculating that he was deliberately trying to influence the others. Ron claimed that he was deliberately stirring Jim up to make a media spectacle, but whatever his true motivations, he had turned this drama into a full-fledged production, and the crowd was loving it. Jim was there were indications that the drama was having a greater impact on him than he had acknowledged, but Jimmy reportedly sought advice from friends and family on how to handle the situation. He grew more calm in the face of the public outcry and stayed dedicated to his singing career and business endeavors. Silently, even though he knew he needed to figure out a way to overcome the obstacle, and he also knew it wouldn't be simple, because relationships had been strained and trust had been betrayed. The tale wasn't completed because even though the video release had only acted as a catalyst for what was bound to be a protracted conflict, the drama between Camron and Jim Jones was being closely watched worldwide, and the long-running rivalry between the two former friends seemed to be intensifying daily. Fans were now split they were riveted to their chairs, eager to see how this incredible story would play out. Would Jim Biablato regain his public reputation, or will the leak cause him to lose it? Some were fiercely defending their favorite celebrity, Camron, while others were supporting Jim, signaled the end of his career. The two hip-hop icons seemed to have drifted apart despite their best attempts to patch things up. Camron is making fun of social media, and the more comments that came in, the more the argument grew. As his supporters banded together to try to find a solution, supporters remained true to everything he said. Meanwhile, Chrissy started taking action on her own. She had always been very private about her personal life, but after the video leaked, she couldn't keep quiet and started posting cryptic. She made it obvious that she would not allow anyone to drag Jim through the dirt without a fight. She sometimes felt cut off from people closest to her. Posts on social media, suggesting treachery, can cause the most damage in a series of interviews. According to one of her tweets, "We created something great and I refused to let anyone destroy it." Her words were poised but uncompromising, and they only served to heighten the drama's tension. Observing when Camron addressed the issue right away on Instagram Live, the public spectacles seemed to reach new heights. "Come on now," he said mockingly, "you understood what was going on behind the scenes." He said, "This is just the beginning. Believe me, there's a lot more to come." The video went viral fast, garnering millions of views, and he hinted at the reasons behind his actions. Something even more unexpected. He was delaying his discoveries until later. He smirked cheekily at the camera and spoke in an assertive, humorous tone. Jim and Chrissy were anxiously awaiting what would happen next, and it was getting harder to ignore the growing media commotion. They realized that tension was increasing and progress was being made with every new development. Harder Jim has always been known for his strength, but the stolen tape had destroyed Thea's sense of security in more ways than one. And as more individuals got involved, the situation changed. He was defending his reputation as well as his relationship with Chrissy. Couples started to wonder if their relationship with Camron was really as strong as it had been. But when Jim and Chrissy were seen together at a big event, things took a whole different turn. Although they kept a low profile, the pair's appearance made it clear to the public at the event that they would not let the disagreement to destroy their relationship. Their smiles for photos covered up the tension behind the scenes, but the issue remained unresolved. Jim reportedly called Camron countless times in an effort to have a private conversation and resolve the matter. But Camron had continuously ignored Jim's calls, leaving him helpless and upset. Jim told a close friend, and to his surprise, he was now playing games. He continued to record despite the controversy, which seemed to spur his creativity because his music was suddenly receiving more attention than ever before. Some fans even said that the video release had given him a new lease on life. Fans occasionally wished for a reconciliation, but he kept bringing up the video release in his lyrics, which included phrases like real, recognized real, and but I guess I'm the only one still standing. Feelings. One thing was for sure. Camron was enjoying the attention, and Jim Jones was still in shock at the harm that had been done to him. Camron and Jim Jones were once brothers, bound together by their shared experiences and love of music. But after weeks of both sides throwing symbolic and actual blows at one another, it seemed as though everything was falling apart. Their dispute had become personal, and the damage had already been done. The two men have had a great lot together, but as time went on and the likelihood of their reconciliation decreased, Camron expressed regret that it had ended this way and hoped the two men would get back together. Showed that he was reluctant to let up. Although Jim promised to never forget the lie, the supporters were left wondering what would happen next, and how their relationship would develop because the drama seemed unpredictable. As the two men attempted to mend their strained friendship, it became more and more clear that the video release had permanently altered the course of events. He had composed a rift that might never be repaired, one that no one had ever seen before. The drama between Camron and Jim Jones has demonstrated that their disagreement is far from finished. Will they ever get back together, or will their once famous partnership end? Chrissy, what about her? As the strain increases, the fans are wondering if she will stand behind Jim or take independent action. I'd like to know what you think. Did Camron go too far in revealing Jim Jones' private footage? Or do you believe he was right to tell the truth? Please share your thoughts in the space provided below. Be sure to subscribe if you're enjoying the drama so you can get updates as they unfold. You won't want to miss our next visit with even more intriguing stories. Following her, Rashida's reputation changed after she received an emotional message. Some fans praised her, while others criticized her for revealing so much about Kirk's and her children's personal lives, believing it was unfair to keep talking about their hardships. With the world, she concentrated on her recuperation, which had grown more challenging as the tension mounted. Andy didn't care what people thought, but Kirk had to face reality. He didn't know how long, and he was battling his addiction and internal issues. But he knew that his marriage was at stake. So he was conscious of how difficult his path to atonement would be. It felt like he was going back to steps for every one. He took best efforts. Rashida grew impatient in addition to his own recovery. In the months that followed, Kirk encountered new issues, and Rashida felt a range of emotions. Although Kirk was clearly committed to getting better, the Frost family had to endure the most agonizing period of their life. And the future was uncertain as the public witnessed the emotional toll rise with every new piece of news. The volume appeared to increase every day. Returned to Rashida at the end. Will their relationship be harmed by his betrayal, addiction, and fame? Only time will tell. Rashida was now. She questioned her capacity to support Kirk. They were suffering from addiction, and she was quietly devastated about the future they had always dreamed of. Although her heart wanted to see Kirk get better, her intellect couldn't ignore the damage his actions had caused. Rashida thought about the unthinkable, abandoning the man she knew better. Now that she knew how far away they were, the weight of those words seemed like a burden. Yet every time she looked at him, she couldn't get rid of the feeling that they were getting farther apart. For better or worse, the idea of being referred to as her soulmate sounded strange and unnerving. And despite her prior trust, they made pledges to one another in both good and bad times. While he was recovering, Kirk started going to a new, more rigorous rehabilitation center. Holistic treatment was given priority in the program, and he was having trouble recovering.